Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Ali Show, and today we have a very special guest, a content creator, artist. There's a few terms: creative, content creator, artist. Man, heaps. We could come up with a lot of names. We were just talking about
just a mongrel.
And the full name would be Franz Liuaana.
Nearly.
Oh wait!
Oh, that's good.
Well,
That's
we
right.
just talked about it just now. So could you tell us the
Yeah. So the full name is Franz Liuaana.
Liuaana?
Yeah. It's not the easiest name to pronounce with the multiple A's that are in there, but yeah.
So that was one of the reasons why you kind of cut it short and put it on your Instagram, just Franz Liu.
Yeah, I think it was just to save the conversation. I think part of it is not to feel embarrassed about my last name. It's just more just to avoid that barrier of like trying to pronounce. Oh, is it Franz? Just the Franz Lee when it comes out. But when it comes out, like I'll give him my full name. They're like, okay. If they try to pronounce it, they try. But if not, then
it just saves the just saves that awkward.
That awkwardness.
Sometimes not with everyone, but like with some people, sometimes it gets a bit awkward. When you get into that conversation. I know what you mean.
It's the polyname thing, right? There's too many syllables, but hey, everyone's got to make the effort. So
that's it. Anyway, Franz, for those of us who might not know who you are, could you give us a brief introduction about yourself, brother?
Oh man, I don't even know where to start, but I think
we got time today.
Yeah, but I think just to cover off what I am doing right now and sort of what career path I'm on, and first of all, I'm a family man. I got a wife and 2 boys, and as a career, I do I'd say like content creation. That's what we've kind of established myself as to what I do. But yeah, I do a few different things on the creative side: videography, photography, and yeah, it's been a whirlwind of last 2 years trying to build that sort of rapport around being a videographer and a creative. So it's been good and been a good journey. I think it's just the start of something bigger. So I'm looking forward to where it heads to.
Just want to ask, obviously this whole journey, it kind of was like over time. Like when was the first, or like the time where you actually like started to, okay, maybe not just like photography, videography, but like, okay, let's start with that. So when was like the first time you actually like picked up a camera, started taking photos, started shooting videos, and like getting ideas? And was it like you start with like just random stuff, or do you just want to do skits and all that kind of thing?
Oh, that's crazy, right? I wish I could say like I started when I was 5 and I picked up the camera. Those stories say, I started when I was 5 years old and picked up my first camera and took. Nah, it definitely wasn't. This was only
back then it was a film, bro. Back then it was
I couldn't even develop, didn't even know where to develop them. But like it started like I think it's about 3 years ago now. And I think it started when I first met a gentleman by the name of Wasi, and he started working at a company called Zero with me, and he was one of the managers there. And he decided to take me out on a hike with him on the first time going on an adventure, see some New Zealand scenery. And when I went there, like I was like, "Yo, this is pretty cool!" Like to catch a sunrise in the middle of nowhere, and I was like, "This is epic!" Like it was a good way to spend my days because I just stopped playing rugby full time, and Saturdays were free to do something cool. So he took me out there and started taking photos on the phone. I saw his photos on his Instagram. I was like, oh, yo, this is pretty cool. Like, I could get in on this. And yeah, I took my first photo on the phone. I was like, you know what? This is really awesome. Posted my first Instagram post. And then I saw the likes of people like Logan Dodds who started doing this like camera thing. He hit the camera to transition. I was like, yo,
from one location to the other.
Yeah, I was like, yo, that's cool. Like, I'm going to go try that. So went out like a week later, bought a GoPro, and I was like, yo, and they all started from there. Right? Like, it started with like a phone, and then, got into like GoPro and action, trying to get all the sceneries. And yeah, like it stayed on that for like a few good months until like, I tried to like, I'm going to get serious about this. And when I say serious, like I'm gonna go buy a camera now, like
a proper.
Yeah, and then start like everyone else. And
hey, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video.
And I walked into like No Limit, and I was like, yo, what's a good camera for a first time
beginner?
Yeah, beginner. They probably get that question all the time. Like I get that question now from a lot of people, but looking back, I'm like, man, that that person serving me would have been like, "Here's a newbie that doesn't know what he's talking about, just asking me the standard question that I get asked all the time."
Yeah.
But I think picked up my first camera then. It was like 2.5 years ago now, and just
So what was the first camera that this guy tried to sell, push, and get you to
Man.
buy?
Nah, I got this. It was a Canon 750D, I think it was.
That's actually a really good camera.
Oh yeah,
to start off.
it was actually pretty cool. Like I got a lot of shots out of it, and try to be creative as possible with what I could push on those limitations on that camera.
Yeah, I think one of the other ones like you kind of learn as well. Like sometimes it's not just all about the camera. There's actually a lot of stuff that goes on after the
Right, yeah. It's that post work, right?
Yeah.
Like, everyone thinks you push a button and your job's done, and it's like, nah, man. You go back to the drawing board and you kind of recomposite that.
Yeah, there's like
that
hours of work actually going into like getting the perfect shot.
the shot, like to get the shot first, and then to get the look. Second of all, like nothing, just colors don't just start popping out of nowhere.
Yeah. and like you start, but that's the other thing when some people when they first start, like they'll pump up like the saturation of the photo. Bro, that's like pretty common. You see fellas like,
man, guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty. I
It's like way too colorful. Are you sure, man?
That was me. I was saturation king, then got onto clarity king. Like, for those who don't know, that's like a Lightroom feature, like on Adobe that. Yeah, you can adjust it, but
you just pump those things up.
Right? Yeah, you got the blue. Yep.
But like even before, like even on just the normal Instagram ones, like I can't remember when exactly they put that feature where you could actually control. Like I think with the very beginning there were just fixed filters that you could play around with. And then after a while, it came out where you can actually adjust
a little bit more control,
exposure, contrast, and this, that one, brightness or whatever. It was less complicated back then, but now there's just so much.
Just
if you actually dive into it, like this, it's actually a lot of things to learn.
It's unreal, right? And like that stuff used to be paid stuff. Now, now it's accessible to everyone. And like, to glamify the images.
Lesser, I would say much lesser like barriers to entry. Anybody can do it if they wanted to, or you might not need. Well, it depends what you're doing, but like you might not need the most expensive gear or like stuff like that.
You kind of look back at like there's like the expensive gear does what it's supposed to do, when you need it to do. But and you can always find a way to execute something with the tools that you have. It may not be like you can execute it better with like better tools, but you can execute something on par with what you really want. So I've learned that over the years that, with the camera that I first started with, I felt like, oh man, like for that camera, I still managed to push out some photos that I really liked, like I still look back, like some of the best photos like I took was of that old school camera, like, and, just finding the right place and, the right light and the right talent, you get something pretty cool, right?
Definitely.
So, and, you can borrow a couple lenses here and there that does the job too.
Yeah, I think that's the other one with like the whole, I would say most of the people that I've met so far, like they're not, well, it depends like what kind of person you are, but usually they don't mind just sharing like lenses and like, hey, what do you need? Like, okay, use that and then just return to me. But sometimes you have those fellas who take the stuff and they don't really look after it, right?
Yeah.
Because this thing is like, it's not your money, and you don't really know the value of it or, how hard it was to get that stuff and like kind of trash it. And then, bro, that's shit. Because some of these lenses, they're not cheap, man. Like,
none of these lenses are cheap.
Man, I like
anything over $100 is expensive for me.
Bro, you look like it's crazy. Like you go to the shops and you look like, man, this small black circular thing looks like a bloody mug.
I know,
and it's like
right?
$few $1,000s. Like what the heck?
It's crazy.
Did they put
you put like a house deposit on these things.
It's crazy.
Right?
Oh man, even like the cinema cameras, bro. Like we're looking at some of those ones, and I was like, man, that's way too much money.
Yeah, it's crazy though, right? Like even some of those cinema cameras now, like you see what people push out on just their normal DSLRs. It's nuts.
It's getting better. Like it's. I think they're kind of developing, like getting into the whole mirrorless thing now, and like all those sort of stuff. So. It's cheaper, but like at the same time, like I feel like there's still some limits there, like
man, everything has its limitations, but it's just
that's just how, how it is. So from that 750D and then moving on, so how was that progression from there?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I think there's a story in between where I found myself in a video team at a company called Zero, and that was via the way of a gentleman, Pat Macfie. Shout out to Pat. Yeah, he's the man.
He's supposed to be on here. Yeah, we'll get you on. Busy man. He's a busy man.
You got to get him on at one stage. Pat's an OG. I think to really cover the story, like I got my opportunity like to fully immerse myself in this industry through Pat. It's actually a really funny story because when I was in Zero accounting software, I was one of the managers in the team, and I had approached Pat, saying that, hey man, I want to learn a bit more about this camera stuff, and the industry. Like, here's some of the videos I made, and I show him like GoPro videos, my phone videos, and kind of, he's like, oh, that's cool. Like, but probably knowing he's like, fuck that shit. Like he's probably going, fuck that shit. But then, inspiring that you're trying to. Yeah. So like, he was like, yeah, cool. I was like, what would it take to, like, I want to work with you guys, like, I want the opportunity, like, I'm really passionate about it. Did the whole passionate spill, like trying to sell the dream to him. He's probably heard it 1,000 times. Like, just looking at me going, you know what, this guy is, he's really doing his best. Like, this young poly boy really trying, like he's not touched a single thing in his life about like videography, but he's passionate. So, but yeah, I think, Pat was a real G, and he was like saying that, keep doing what you're doing, and there's another fella in there by the name of PJ Warren. That's kind of the guy that I learned pretty much a lot of my skill sets from, because he still works with Pat now, but he was a real G. But yeah, like I learned a lot from him, and then I think it was like 3 months later, Pat and another fella that works in the team like came across to me, and the other guy, Wasi, the manager, and said, hey, Franz, Wasi, is there anyone in your team that would be keen to come work for us? Hey. And I was like in the meeting looking at them too. I'm like, yo, I came to you two. Like, I came to you two like a few months ago, and you're asking me to go find someone else. Yeah, and like, I was like, man, this sucks. Like, I was like, so once he went, he's like, yeah, I'll go start sending the email out to the team to see, anyone that might fit their team. And I was like, yeah, go do that. He walked away. I'm like, I walked straight across, like, I walked like halfway across the office to go see these two guys. Yeah. As soon as I walked there, I get to the department, and they're looking at me, cracking up, laughing. They're like, oh, we knew you'd come. And it's like, I was like, how dare you play me like that?
That's a dirty.
Yeah, I was cracking. I was more of just to see what it was like. I think when I came back, it's like, oh, like, they were just laughing at me. Like, so I went in the room with Pat. I was like, yeah, man, like, yeah, we figured you'd come, like. In that conversation, and I remember Pat, just putting me up and said, "Hey, yeah, that's cool. I'm happy for you to come work for our team, and like I'm happy to help you out."
He's just he's a real like genuine guy.
Unreal. Like, I think there's he's a realist at the same time, but a really genuine dude. That I think when we chatted about it, his biggest thing was to give back. I think one of his main things that he said to me was like nothing he does or none of his success really matters if he doesn't give back at any stage, right? Especially to your community and to your people, right? So I think he made a real point about that. And it's like, for me, this is the give back, just the first part of it, So here's your opportunity. And I was like, yo, this is me. But the catch was, you quit your job in the next 2 days, and I was like,
oh shit,
I need to give him a notice. He's like, oh well, that's up to you. And I think like they had to turn it around, like the contract and stuff really soon, and hire someone within that time frame. So I was like, all right, let's do it. Like, and took some heat for it, but it was worth it, man. Like, I spent 1.5 years with that team just learning the house down. Like, what I do at uni, like I learned everything there as well, like on the job. So
yeah, I think like sometimes, I mean, well, different people are gonna have their opinions, but I feel like sometimes you actually learn way more and stuff that you actually really need.
Yeah.
Like on the job itself, like when you're out there, like man, you learn a whole bunch of stuff in like school and all of that. Like that's cool, you know, that's fine. But like sometimes like some of the stuff you're not really gonna apply, like.
It's different, right? Like, I never discredit someone that's come through the uni like path, because they come through and I'm like, yo, a whole bunch of stuff that I don't know.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I have a lot of access to stuff that you don't have. So we can work together to meet halfway and, create something awesome. But at the same time, like I can't discredit the uni part, because I don't know what I could have learned from that. But when I'm working with people that has come out of that, that pathway,
I mean, there's definitely stuff.
Yeah,
Like
there's
a
definitely
lot of
stuff, but I think like for most things that people say that, man, I could have just learned this on the job, So a lot of those people will know. Like I feel like terminology wise, they come out of uni knowing a whole bunch of stuff, like
all the fancy words.
yeah, and I'm like, yeah.
Just pretend you know.
Just show me where it is on the camera again. Like yeah. So it becomes like that, But I've been really trying to be honest about my learning and that if I don't know something, or if I know someone that does the job, better, what is it? Or
I don't know.
if I know someone that can do the job better, it's like, I don't know how to do that, but I know someone that can do it. So it's more just being about honest and not putting yourself in that position.
Yeah, but I think like that's pretty. I mean, like maybe like people like us, like we're pretty straightforward. Like if we know, we know. We don't know, we don't know.
Yeah,
Bro,
it's crazy.
like,
some people when you're
Don't
trying to
wanna
get
ask
when
for.
when you're trying to get ahead and when someone asks you to do something and you're like and there's a good opportunity there, you might feel like it's the opportunity, I need to take it now. So you might kind of like just kind of selfishly just take it. But
Yeah.
sometimes you learn that way, but it could be a a toxic way to learn. It could come out bad. But hey, it's part of learning, right?
That's
part of
it.
life. But I bring it back to the story like how I got to 750D and like the camera I'm using now was pretty much immersing myself in that video team and like using all their tools because they had like quite some really big beefy tools. I was like, all right,
With
cool.
all the red cameras.
Yeah,
and all that.
they had like I think they had Sony cameras like a
Yeah.
big FS7 and they had a Canon 5D and stuff like that. They used to hire like 1DXs.
higher ends.
So I'm like, cool. I know what I've used now with them. Like I'm gonna go away and research like what I feel like would fit what I need as well. So and it all depended on what I wanted to execute. So
you were how long were you with a team with Pat and all? That was part of Zero or
yeah, that was Zero. It was part of Zero. Yeah.
And then because Pat kind of went on a different path after that.
Yeah, I think Pat always had something cooking. Yeah, like the man's got his brain runs
Ideas.
100 miles an hour.
I mean, like at the end of the day, I think in my opinion, like sometimes it's if you really, really, really want to get like ahead, it's quite hard to be working for someone else. You know what I mean? Like you've got to build something of your own.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking about like being like a millionaire, billionaire, whatever, but like just having that financial freedom.
Yeah.
And being able to live life like on your own terms.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do. Sort of like, be your own boss is like,
It's the ideal world, right? And like I never say that that's not possible because you've seen it a million times already that people doing it. So it's just always just a matter of what effort you put in, and that's exactly what Pat and that are building. So you got to start somewhere though, eh? So that's the main thing. You got to start somewhere in, and that's exactly what Pat did. So he took that pathway, and when he left. He had an opportunity as well that he actually approached me with, working at the Warriors, like doing job for the Warriors, him and Monty Beetham. And like, wasn't even a foot in. That was pretty much a job guaranteed because they both recommended me to that. So in that role. So when Pat left, I took that opportunity a month later after Pat left to go work with Warriors. And I was like, you know what? Pat knew exactly what my goals were. And I wanted to create some very cool sports inspo stuff. And one of the funniest stories, like not funny, but one of the most like one of my first goals that I had in mind when I said, I sat at the top of the mountain after 2 months of using a GoPro. I said to my mate Philly sitting on like, I remember this, we talk about it all the time, like because it was 2.5 years ago, we sat there and I said, you know what, I want to do this. I want to leave my job, like not leave my job, but I'm gonna become a videographer. I want to really take this thing seriously and become a creative and create some epic inspo stuff. And the first person that we had in mind, the first person we wanted to work with was John Bucket. And I was like, yo, like, and I saw what he's doing. And, I got the opportunity to take photos of John. Like, so if John's been watching this at some stage, like, I still want to do something with him. Like, the guy's an inspo, man. Like,
man, he is.
I just even the work he's done for the community and just the stuff he like puts up and his energy and like vibe around here is like, yo, he's a good guy.
It's crazy. I don't know if people actually realize, like, not a lot of people might realize, but the stuff that he's done. And like when I did the podcast with him and we went he went deep, bro, and just
story there. It's like the man, like, and I've always heard from other people, like always good things, like, and like it's always a story that I've heard about John, like, and especially with the brothers and stuff like that. Yo, this sounds like comes from a family of like. I'm badass. These guys are cool, man. They got a story. They go deep and like and now they're just like giving back and just really like grinding, And it's just a vibe, you know what I mean? Like if Nike had a story to tell, like these guys should be like in on it, Like they kind of like embody a whole bunch of things that people live, like, the struggles and like coming out on top. And, man, like just to see his latest post, he's on the comeback again. I'm like, yo, that's it. Like,
Yeah, we were just talking about that. Like, he was saying hopefully he gets a fight in for the end of the year. And what do you know? Next thing you know, he's closing out. He's the main event for a fight next week.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy, right?
Yeah, probably when this video comes out or past.
Yeah,
but,
possibly.
He's the main event for the which is most of the fighters come from the Wim to Warrior program.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be the main event there. So that's pretty awesome,
Yeah, man. He was definitely one of the first guys that, like, especially because Steve's little brother Felix suggested, like, yo, you should definitely look this guy up. I was like, first saw, I was like, yo, say less, man. Like, he's got a story. Like, let's do a Nike video. Like, never had the opportunity. He invited me over actually to City Kickboxing. So City Kickboxing was like my first ever like. Like take some photos. I was a bit shy and stuff like that. Like, and it felt like I was getting in the way. Like, I think I was more like starstruck, like just seeing like people. Like at the time, Kai had just made his big entrance into the UFC for the first time, and he came into the gym. I was like, yo, that's Kai Franz. And then like. That's just I was walking out, like I saw Carlos walk in, and like I've been chatting to Carlos before that. Like I didn't. The guy was interested in like hiking and stuff. Like he was like he loves his like scenery and stuff. So it was really cool. But when I saw him in person, I was like, "Yo, this guy's a beast!" Like, and then it was crazy.
But he's the most
he was friendly as dude. I was like, man, how are you so
guy.
friendly and like a killer in the ring?
That's why he said on his on the lead up to his latest fight, he was gonna kill him with kindness, bro. And I was like, yo,
yeah, like just genuinely, like, man, you can't be that good looking, and frick, that's unfair, man. That's so unfair.
Do you see his little bow and arrow that he did after he knocked the guy out? I was like, yo, man. We were joking. I was joking with some of the boys, man. All the girls gonna be tuning in now, bro.
Yeah, pay that money in the pay-per-view just to see.
Give the man his money.
I'll watch your interviews, bro. Jeez.
Yeah, we're supposed to do one with him, but obviously they stuck there now. Little bit of a delay, but I think they'll be back close to end of the year. I think maybe just in time for Christmas or just after. Yeah, but pretty. It's just. I mean, this trip that he did, there was obviously it was a big thing. Getting his foot into the UFC and getting that contract, and there was like I mean, if anybody who does know Carlos, you would have known there would be no doubt. There was no doubt.
Just timing, everyone's been asked. Like every time I've heard the name Carlos and I've seen his stuff like fight, I'm like, why is this guy not even in the ring? Like, surely, like just to see it come into fruition, I was like, oh man. What a way to come into this.
When he got that contract, I was telling him before he left there, I said, I'll see you after. Make sure you bring the contract and we'll do the podcast. So one of the next few people to expect. Hey, you, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. I was actually at work, bro. It was a funny story. I was at work and we were about to do the job, bro. And there was like a few people all there waiting. And I had the phone on. I was looking at it, and I was like, "Oh man, it's gonna start soon." And then we had our toolbox. We had our setup, everything is that whatnot. And then they announced the Carlos fight was, Bruce Buffer. Was it Bruce Buffer? No, it might have been someone else, but they announced the fight was gonna start. Man, I just like stopped everybody. I was like, "Sorry guys, we're all gonna have to wait." Fuck. I went to the side, put my phone down, and I was like, and they were all just looking at me. I was like, "What are you guys looking at? You can do something, have a smoke or have a drink or whatever. Just wait, man. Like I gotta watch this fight."
Just wait a couple minutes, it'll be over soon.
But it was crazy because I think it was only like 2 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Carlos just knocked him out. Okay, guys, back to work.
Told you, won't take too long.
Let's get back to work now. So man, that was insane. Yeah, the way that the guy was knocked out as well was insane, bro. Yeah. Man, crazy. But back to so you went to work with the Warriors. Yeah. And so how long were you working with the Warriors?
It's crazy, right? So I was only there for like a good 9-month period. I think when COVID hit, the team was based in Australia. So there's a few things that need to be rearranged. And I think it hit most of the businesses pretty hard. I think it hit Warriors as well. So I had to make a call, the things had to be changed around, and financially. So I made a decision to leave and go freelancing. I think I knew for myself and the family, it was probably the most lucrative option to go with, especially to pay the bills and everything. So, yeah, I left the Warriors, but also just kept some arms length there, so I can just keep in touch. And I knew that
Definitely don't burn any
yeah,
bridges.
no, I wasn't burning any bridges. It was more just trying to keep that relationship because any day everyone needs content. I just think Warriors at the time just didn't need any too much. They couldn't do too much content
Yeah,
as well. So I think with
during the whole
most
period.
people, yeah, during that whole period, everyone was based in Aussie, so it was hard to get no players. We couldn't make anything, and so yeah, I made a decision to leave, and yeah, once I left, I think the first job off the bat was with Izzy. Like,
Yeah, the My Protein
yeah,
ad that you
I
did,
was
eh?
just like, yo, wait, what? Like, with Izzy, like, so yeah, when that came about, and that came through Kai. That came through Kai. So I shot a video with Kai and Johnny, two of us and shit. I don't
Yeah,
know if
the
you've
one at
seen it.
Combat Academy. I
Yeah,
saw that
yeah.
one.
We shot,
Oh, so you shot that
yeah, I
one.
shot that one, and then Kai's like, yo, we like how the video guys like, I know the guys that I can't remember what's the sports management they look after them.
Oh, AP Sport
Yeah,
Management.
so yeah, the
Yeah,
guys there,
Ash.
yeah, Ash and all that, and
Mm.
heard from Ash and a guy named Mark Rooney as well. They're like, hey, yeah, we love your stuff, and we keen to link you up with My Protein to discuss Izzy's shoot and stuff like that.
Have you heard the Well, just sorry to interrupt
Yeah,
you there. Have you heard the story about Ash as well?
is this for engaged?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't
Ash,
heard his story, but like
bro,
the
you need
guys,
to. He actually did a. Yeah, I was really, man. He's just a good guy, man. He's a good
yeah,
fella. He's genuine good fella, and I knew a little bit. I did a bit of digging,
yeah,
and just finding about him, and he actually just recently did a podcast. Man, it just slipped my mind. What's the name of the podcast? But yeah, Ash Belcastro. If you search on Spotify, it should be there. He did a podcast and he talked a little bit about the story, and
yeah.
I actually heard a little bit about Ash from a podcast that Eugene did
Yeah.
some time ago. But yeah, if anybody does have time, go check that out, have a listen. But yeah, he actually does. It was quite an interesting story of how they all came about.
Crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, you were saying, and then Ash contacted you.
Oh no, I was more interested in what you were about to say about Ash's story. I'm gonna have to check that potty out, eh? So
Okay,
yeah. So
definitely give
Ash
that one a
contacted
listen.
me just to like, just say, oh, the video guy's stuck in America, so we're
Mm.
just wondering if we could just link you up with My Protein just to create some of the content for Izzy that he's gonna be a brand ambassador for. So I was like yeah, like Izzy, like I was more like.
Is it the real Izzy?
Like,
or
Izzy was just like another Izzy, like so yeah, it was unreal. So I got a little crew together to set up on short notice and try to deliver and send it back to the UK for.
Bro, I must say that ad was sick, bro.
Ah man,
I enjoyed like
I was
that
saying
was a
to these
good
guys,
one, bro.
Izzy's sick, right? Like I don't care what ad it is, man.
I mean,
Izzy's sick,
yeah,
bro. Like, he's-
of course, bro. He's got the star power, and everybody knows who he is. And bro, he's just a character, bro.
was
You
that?
bro,
It
you
was-
can. I don't know how people cannot, man. If anybody hates him, bro, I just think you're jealous. Man. That's
Oh.
it. Like,
It's all not. When you're shooting it, it was more of just like, man, you can't shoot shit things with this guy. This guy's just a vibe, man.
yeah, he
Like,
is, bro. He's just
Yeah.
a awesome
He's
fucking
cracking.
fella.
He's
Like,
just- he's
how can
just-
you not like the guy?
Yeah, like, it was crazy for me, like, because I'm such a big anime fan,
Mm.
and then like just seeing like chat about anime stuff, like, yo,
Just
that's
get into
good.
it, eh?
This is so cool. Like, this guy's like pretty chilled with how
His
he.
imagination is pretty wild as well.
Yeah, man. Unreal.
You've got to have like a certain level of thinking and certain level of creativity
Yeah.
to be able to pull off the kind of shit that he does.
Yeah.
Like, man,
And-
he's
and
doing
on
stuff
every
that-
level, right?
Man, he's doing stuff that people don't even see coming, bro. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
Like, it's
crazy.
insane. Yeah, but man, I mean, like when I saw that ad, the My Protein ad, and
Yeah.
then I found out like there was a photo of you actually in. I think there was a photo I saw somewhere. I can't remember exactly where I saw it, but I saw
Yeah.
your photo in it. And I was like, man, that's sick. That's pretty cool. You know, like
Yeah.
I appreciate this sort of stuff. Like as much
Yeah.
as I appreciate Izzy doing the whole ad,
Yeah.
I appreciate the whole idea, the production, and how the whole thing was carried out and
Yeah.
shot. Man, it's cool.
Nah,
bro.
man, shout out to the My Protein crew for that. So they came up with that. We just had to execute the look that they wanted. But
Mm.
I think the opportunity just to work, with like a guy like Izzy, like, man, it was dope. It was fun. You know what I mean? Like, you work with a lot of people, and everyone has a different energy. But this guy's every bit you expect him to be. Just like good fun, man. Just brings it super real, and just they make the job so much easier.
And like that's one of the other things as well. I feel like with Izzy, he is not just someone who just follows the instructions on the paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there are certain companies, certain brand, or like they want you to go like a very straight line.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with Izzy, I feel like or with almost anything you can expect that he's not going to go into a straight line.
Yeah. You follow his narrative. Like,
Yeah, and I think it's just way much better. Like if this guy is really good at improvising, creating, and he has all these ideas, man, you should.
it.
Yeah, you should use it.
Makes the piece more
Definitely.
relatable and more him. So it was cool. I think off the bat, once I finished up with the Warriors, to pick that up is more like a kind of a blessing in disguise, because I left blind, kind of like oh, I don't know what
It must have been. I mean, it must have been hard as well. Like being in your position, a breadwinner of your family, and it's definitely a tough decision when you always.
Oh man, it came with some some stress as well. That's for sure. But I think it's just once I came out of the Warriors, I was blessed with that one opportunity with Izzy straight away, and I think things just kicked off from that point. I think perception went out that this guy's working with a big dog like Izzy, and like the product that came out from that was amazing. Like and I'd love to take super credit for everything, but there was a whole bunch of people involved in it. Like there's the company that edited it did a great job as well. But
Are they a local company?
nah, these are apparently these guys were the guns of editing that they based out in America. I think it was. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. But
Was it Jeff?
nah, I think there's like a big company.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
I can't remember. It was like making like Company One, I think it was called. I can't remember.
okay.
No, I would have just made that up. But but yeah, it was something like that. They apparently were like a really good company for editing. So yeah, when they pieced that together, it came out. I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked. That the way it came out, like for me to shoot something that.
So pretty much you guys just shot the raw content.
Yeah, we shot the raw content. We got given the brief. It's like we need this specific shot of Izzy doing
okay.
this. We need this lighting set up. It's like, so it was cool. Like the guys that were involved. Shout out to Luke Stockman and Regan Butler for that. Those guys are G's. So for coming through and kind of making sure that we delivered on that look, and yeah, they were happy. I mean, just as long as Izzy was happy on the day, I was more concerned that
you don't want to piss him off.
I don't piss him off. It was more just like I'm not too concerned. I'm pretty sure if this guy doesn't like something, he's just gonna tell us.
He's gonna say.
Yeah.
He'll make it clear.
Yeah, he'll make it clear. But it was cool. He was all good of everything. Like just came out. There was sound bites that he needed to. He was saying that for him, must have felt like, okay, yeah, it's something I'd say anyway. So it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, the whole audio behind it was awesome as well. And I think was it because he did the Puma one after that as well.
Yeah.
Yo, did you work on that?
Nah, it's funny. I keep getting asked if I did that.
Yeah.
I should have just gone, yeah, I did that. I did
Just
that.
like adding your name in there.
I did, but don't ask them. Nah, yeah, I definitely didn't do that one. But when that came out, I was like, yo, man, I wish I had done.
Dope, bro.
It was dope. It was so dope. So that's the sort of stuff I like, especially because it's Puma. Like when you think about all these athletes taking up like Nike and Adidas, and then just to see like Izzy like go with Puma and like
it's so awesome. Like
that's so
I didn't see that.
cool.
I didn't see that coming in.
Yeah.
Like because usually the Nike, Adidas, or possibly Under Armour, but but when it came out with Puma, I was like, yo, like we didn't see that. And I think he's the.
I feel like he revitalized that whole. I was like, yo, I love Puma now. So
he does, man. Like, and people are taking notice of Puma now.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that's just what Izzy does, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he gives it more swag. Yeah, he
Yeah,
definitely.
bro.
Like they had like the shoes itself, that vintage swag that they had, and now he just brought it out even more. I'm like, yeah,
He's
that's
like
so cool. Yeah,
man, that's a next level. Like I think it was similar. I wouldn't say, I don't want to like compare, but a similar situation was when Gary V went with the K-Swiss shoes.
Yeah,
If you know that one, and he
Yeah.
kind of like, man, let's be honest, like K-Swiss
Yeah,
before
man.
that. Like, nobody really
Had a
was
rip, didn't
yeah,
it?
nobody really was talking about
Yeah.
K-Swiss, man. Come on, And I think when Gary V came in and he like did a line,
Yeah.
and people started to take notice, and
Yeah.
just adding his name, basically his brand.
Yeah. It kind of brings you back to the whole like the power of like someone's influence on
It's,
fashion.
oh,
But then again, like it's also fashion, and Izzy's this fashionable guy, so like you're gonna like yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But you like how sometimes he just like he's real down to earth as well, and he'll just tell you that people ask him and he say most of the time I look like a homeless guy. And that's what he'll say, you know, and he's just like,
Yeah.
he's walking around with no shoes and stuff like that. And, he,
Yeah.
you know, a few of the podcasts that he did as well, like, you know, that's just how he is. And
Super chill day.
he's
Super
straight
real
up.
day.
Yeah, he's just straight up. And like, he doesn't care, bro. Like, you know,
Yeah.
when you
man.
reach like a level like that, like, you just don't care.
What are you trying to prove?
Yeah.
But nah, you definitely see like that level of status and image. Like, you see some other people are famous that keep to themselves, reserved, and have to dress up a certain way to, you know, keep a public image. But this guy's just super real. Like,
he's
his
just
public
doing-
image is still gangster, you know?
he's just doing what he wants to do,
Yeah.
bro. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's
I
crazy.
like
So what about some of the other projects? So there was the first one was the My Protein one.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then like it it kind of felt weird. Like during the breakdown, there was this whole thing that happened. Like so I kind of found myself in the space of doing social media work with PR agencies and brands and stuff like that, but on my own platform. Somehow I became in the I hate saying this, but that influencer space, you know? So like just pushing, but for me it was like, oh, this is a cool opportunity to do create content, just like for My Protein, but for other people, but via an influencer sort of way, right? So I still don't reckon I'm an influencer. It's just more that it was just an opportunity to create content, right? So, but yeah, when came off the Izzy thing, but before that, I was working. The way I got the Izzy thing, I was working with the not working, but lockdown happened, and there was this thing called the Transition Challenge.
Oh, and that was, I think that was for me personally, that was when I kind of took notice of your stuff.
And that's when it kicked off for me on social. I was doing heaps of other stuff for that adventure stuff and working video and trying to do doco style stuff, you know, like, and trying to get a name out there. But it really kicked up on that Transition Challenge. And, you know, I think a big kudos to the boys, Johnny, Tuvasa Shik, and Terrell Tuffer for putting me up on that. And, you know, like, it became a three-way challenge thing, you know, like, we can up one another, and every time Johnny would destroy us, so that's all good.
Bro, you had some awesome content, like the video that you did. That was sick, bro. Like, man, I don't want to take sides or anything, but you know, there was
Nah, take my side, all good.
there was some of yours that I felt was like, because there was like number one, challenge 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And I definitely felt that there was one or two. It kind Well, one or two that you definitely had it in the pocket.
See, Johnny, I told you. You took all the wins on that. Nah.
Maybe because of the numbers. He's got some big numbers.
Man, but he is a talent, man. I think
he is definitely.
Yeah, he definitely led that whole concept thing. It wasn't until like round 3 I realized how it actually worked, the transition thing. And Johnny was telling me how how he put a lot of effort in a lot of those. So I think that's where it kicked up for me, and that's where I purposely decided, you know what, we're in lockdown. I'm gonna try something different, and I'm gonna, you know, step out of the comfort zone, jump in front of the camera, because now I don't have anyone to film because I can't get in contact with anyone.
Yeah,
and
makes it a lot harder.
Yeah, exactly. And on that same week, I did that announcement, like, yeah, I'm just gonna try something, be uncomfortable and try something different. Johnny came with this transition challenge. I was like, holy heck, that was sick. I was
There's
like,
a lot of work as well.
yeah, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna try TikTok too. That was my first time. I was like, this is gonna be my first TikTok video.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I was like, oh, yo, that kind of went well. I thought people would look at me like, what the heck are you doing? Go back to filming your adventures.
Oh man, the reach that you can get on TikTok's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't do so well on TikTok. I think it started with my first video. It did pretty well. But I think on social media, it created on Instagram, it started creating a presence of like, oh, yo, this guy's got some, you know, some vibe to his work. And for me, I was like, okay, cool, this is cool. And next round came, third round came, and I think I just picked off up from there. And then the following just grew like substantially. So I was like, okay, I better make the most of this and start creating content. And you know, I think I kind of at the same time, maybe it was a bad move because I kind of fell in the trap of like, oh, I have to create something, you know, rather than just freely creating because I wanted to.
Some pressure.
Yeah, I felt a bit of pressure, like, and maybe it was just a maneuver for that. So like, I felt like, oh, this is, you kind of, I'm really honest, like, it felt nice to get the attention, you know, like I was like, cool, but then you slowly realize that you get burnt out pretty quickly and, you know, and you don't need to do half the stuff that you put the pressure on yourself to do. So, but yeah, like once it came through, built enough, then, you know, PIA just started hitting up, and the first job I took out of that was the Heineken thing. You know, like I took a Heineken job with them, and you know, started creating content for them, and start, you know, trying to push a different narrative for them. And yeah, I was like, cool, this is cool to get got my name against something like this, and you know, and then be on their pages as well. And then, shooting other content photography for them as well. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool for their R&V stuff. And then from that, Live Plus came around,
Which is for those who haven't seen.
Yeah.
It's up on your pages, man. It was
Yeah.
pretty creative.
Yeah.
I like that one.
It was definitely cool. We just dropped that campaign. So Live Plus, if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It's pretty
There's
cool.
two. There's actually two. There's the bromance one.
Yeah.
That was the first one, and the second one
was
will
a
be
plumber.
the plumber, which is Billy.
Billy, that's cracker, right? You don't want that plumber showing up to that house. Fix your damn sink, people.
Man, you will be like watching him all the way and watching his every step where he's going.
It's just like, no, I'll fix my own sink. I'm gonna get rid of a sink. We're using a bathtub. We have a bucket of water now to wash our dishes.
Shit.
But yeah, so we made a 4-part series on that Live Plus, which was cool. It was a lot of like work in progress, and there's a reason why I put a lot of effort in it, because that financially there's a lot of money involved in it, which is which was why it was a great opportunity. And that came from a long established relationship with myself and Live Plus, running back about a year ago, when they were working on a different branding approach. But this year they changed it, decided to go a Kiwi route, and engage with more of the Kiwi audience and the comedy side as well, which was like, yeah, cool. We got some cool people around that could really fit that vibe, that vibe and energy.
It's always easier to remember something when it's funny.
Yeah, especially like you realize on social media, like the shorter it is, the funnier it is. That's what people are gonna do. In 2 days, everyone's gonna forget about it. Like, it's just like a short attention span. Like they'll remember it, but it's something that they all laugh and enjoy in the moment when they see it. When they do come across it, it's a piece that they can enjoy. But nothing's forever on social, man. Like everyone's attention span and everyone.
You gotta keep up, eh?
Yeah, it's just like that's why the pressure's kind of there sometimes. Like, I gotta keep up, but it's being able to kind of balance both of that. So I treated this as more of a commercial job than more of an influencer job. So
for people who are not really sure or who don't have an idea of how much work it actually takes to put all that together. So there's four clips, short clips. Well, it's not really short. I don't think it's short, but like there's a lot of work. Because I know how much work goes into it. But how long do you guys spend to get all that together?
It's crazy. Like
shooting and post production as well.
Bro, that's not even the hardest part. It's the beginning part of that. It's the pre-production, right?
Ooh.
It's the part where you have to have multiple conversations with that company to make sure, one, you're on brand. Two, the concepts don't have any borderline red flags that that might start it, give them a bad name. Thirdly, like you have to establish timelines when you're going to deliver it and what those KPIs are going to be, what they want from this, how will it be successful. So everything that in the marketing space that you have those conversations. And I don't know if other people do it, but that was the approach I took on this job. Like I
feel like you have to from if you want to be like professional, you got to work through all these things first.
Yeah, 100%. Like those conversations got to be had. Like, and that's just business. That's business 101. Sometimes you gotta put something on the table that people would like, and they're paying for it. So you got to make sure you deliver on that. And then we came up with a whole bunch of concepts, and they went back and forth, and they went to their team and came back to us, and then they're like, we like this concept. How are you going to execute it? Then we talked about budgets, and then budgets are always a hard conversation.
Yeah, it's always a very very touchy.
Yeah, but then sometimes you just gotta go with it and just this is what the time's worth. This is the amount of work. What we're doing now is my time too, So
definitely,
I'm taking that into consideration, and I've never been one to shy around that conversation. It's either a yes or no. If I miss it, I miss it. That's fine. I was honest with myself in that situation. I'm not gonna over deliver on something that I'm not getting paid to do unless I knew there was like a massive sort of like benefit that was going to come on the other end of it, or
down the line
or it's going to be longer. But yeah, I treated this one with a lot of respect as well, and like the people involved in Live Plus were really good people. So so we got the concept ready, got the budget ready, then we had to figure out location, then we had to there was 5 people involved. So I was playing the middleman in between, trying to like, are you okay with this amount of payment? Are you okay with this amount of payment? And going back, getting the contracts in, getting signed, and like sorting out the little piece of, the contracts. But once the shooting day came, it was like, cool, we know what we want to shoot. It's just get all the camera, get the lighting, get the crew together, get the right outfits, get the location sorted, you know, then you get to the coast and you're trying to set it up to make it look like the way you need it to look for the camera. So yeah, it's a whole bunch of it, eh? And then you
It's a
go
bit of
home.
work. It's
Yeah.
quite a bit of work.
Then you go home and you sit there going through hours of footage, and you're like, and it's only for the first clip, you could shot a whole day,
Yeah.
for probably 5 hours of footage, and you're like, oh, it's for a 40-second clip. It's like, bloody hell. And then
And
you're
you're
like,
gonna go through everything, make sure it's
Yeah.
exactly what you want, how you want it.
exactly. And then you do the sound, you got to make sure the sound's perfect so people can actually hear what the dialogue is. And then you add in sound effects as well to make sure that it feels like you're there in the moment.
Make
you
it a
know?
bit more interesting,
Make it more interesting,
engaging.
Yeah, because there's people. I like that, right? They're like, if they can't engage visually, they engage with audio. Like, oh, okay, cool. So you got to give them a bit of everything. So, yeah, there's a lot of it. And then if the video isn't what they wanted, then they send it back to you. You fix what they want, send it back to them. And it comes back and forth until you get to that.
It's a bit of a back and forth.
Yeah, and that's like, cool, one video done, and then you get to the next one. And it's like you repeat the process. So
yeah,
it's a bit of work. But you got to make sure it's always worth your time as well. So
definitely, yeah. I mean, that's why like what you said, in the beginning when you actually factor all the costs that involve.
Yeah,
this is actually part of, if some people don't see or might not have experience as yourself, they might think that the first submission is what they want.
Yeah.
But chances are, most of the time, it's gonna take a few bounces.
Yeah.
Before
you get it right sometimes. Right? So it is what it is. Like I'm not saying I'm a seasoned veteran at this game and I'm filming, but I'm learning along the way as well. So
that's it. You kind of have to you definitely make mistakes, but the whole point is to learn from those mistakes and just improve.
100%, right? And sometimes you can preempt some of that stuff. And for the Izzy shoot, right? Like when they gave me the brief UK, I was like, sorry, you thought I could do this? You actually thought I could do this? Do all these things. And I was like, and they started dropping all these gears that they needed. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that lens is. I don't know what that camera is. So I was like, let me just go chat to someone. So I brought someone in that knew how. That had a bit more idea. So we end up with a crew of 5 at the end of the day.
Well, that's quite a few people.
Yeah. So it's so it took 5 people to shoot and execute that whole thing, right? So it's more of just it was just identifying hey, you have weaknesses, work on them, but be honest with yourself. Can you deliver this? If you try to take it on yourself and you you can't do it, then you're kind of screwed. You're never gonna get a good reputation. And I knew that Ash is if I'm engaged, and then Kai's name was on the line as well because he put my name forward. So I was like, I'm not gonna fail these guys. I'm not gonna put something up.
As a friend as well, you don't want to disappoint them.
Right. If someone gives you an opportunity, don't drop the ball. Someone passes you the ball, don't drop it. Catch it and be honest up front. So I was really clear from the start with the team just to make sure. But I said, I'm definitely gonna need help on this one. So I'm gonna bring in a couple guys, chat to my protein. And see how we can execute this and see if we can flex the budget a little bit more to really deliver. And they did. They were happy to flex it out. And the team we brought on were killers, man. And they did the job. And I was happy. I was like, yeah, cool. Now I learned a lot from that shoot. That was the main thing. I learned a shitload from that shoot.
And that's one of the things as well. Sometimes you don't have to be an expert in everything. You get guys who might have a little bit more experience or better at certain things, and then you kind of feed off them. And you learn and you use it. Next time.
I literally came out of that shoot going, I'm gonna go do something exactly the same now. Get the same lights, get a hazer, and just shoot something similar now. But now knowing that, cool, that's under my belt. I've learned that skill. Now to take it and learn another skill now. So it's just a learning phase, man. And you'll learn every time you work with different people. So
hey, you, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video.
Is the red light on the record button not lit up?
We have those moments. I've had one of those. Oh,
bro, and man, talking about that, especially on a video shoot.
Yeah.
When there's so many people there, bro, if you make a mistake like that, you not only have to apologize to one person, bro.
Oh man.
There's gonna be a few angry faces.
Yeah, so here's my first big ass blooper when I first jumped on the video scene. So at Zero they have this thing called ZeroCon. All right. It's like the big I don't even know how to explain this. It's like a business R&V, like fucking big ass business, like Comic-Con or something. Like, you know, people come there to party and like and learn about other like apps and like accounting softwares, but it's a party. Like, you can't fool anyone, right? So it looks like a party. So like so when you get there, we have a whole video booth set up, right? So I got invited to go. This Pat goes, Franz, you know what? You're coming with us. And I'm like, yo, sweet. I've always wanted to go on one of these. And like, you're on the video cameras. I was like, I've never used these video cameras before in my life. So I get there. They're like, yeah, Franz, so here's the cameras, 3 cameras. And what's it called? Just make sure you put on the lapels and to the 3 interviewers. And I'm like, cool. So who's going to be doing the camera work with me? There's 3. I'm like, yeah, you are. I was like, sorry. I was like, sorry, 3 cameras. Like I've never used before in my life. And so it was crazy. So I had to make sure that I hit record on all of them. I positioned the people right. I've never even done this before. So I learned. I was like chucking you in the deep end. Yeah, that was definitely chucking in the deep end. So. And then one
was that Pat?
Yeah, Pat, man, did me a solid there. Like, come work, come to this fun thing, but you're gonna have to do some work. And I know you've never done it before, but you're gonna learn today. It's definitely that moment you're gonna learn today, right? So I got on the camera, and I think it was definitely like I think it was the CEO of the company was gonna sit down.
Wow.
And I was like, so I felt pressure, so I was like, yeah, I could mic them up, and then. I got pressured and Pat's like, you ready? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready. And I just like hit record and then like just like I had that whole like 15 minutes of conversation, Pat interviewing. And then like and Pat goes like, sweet, done. I'm like, oh sweet, yeah, hit record, stop recording. I went to the other cameras to stop recording and none of them were recording. And the mic was attached to that camera that on the other side. I was like, I froze, man. I panicked. I was like,
what did I say?
I just so screwed up. It took me like 30 seconds to recover myself, and the CEO had walked off, and I was like, "Oh, hey Pat, bro, I forgot to push record." And I wasn't laughing. I was like panicking, and Pat's like, "All right, cool. Show me what you got. Show me what you did push record on, and let's see what audio, if you did get any audio, and let me watch it quickly." And then he like stopped the CEO. I was like, "Hey, can you just hold on for 2 minutes, please?" And then he was like, he's like looking at his watch because he has to be somewhere else as well. But Pat looked at the whole video and he's like, cool, you shot wide. We got audio. I can actually hear audio. He goes, because usually you have the other cameras to crop in, so you have a tighter shot, when you're doing interviews. You have like one camera wide and the other one tight and another from another angle. But I only had a wide this time. And like luckily there was still audio from it. You can hear it. And Pat just looked at it and goes, it's all good. It's all good. We can use this and we can get away with it. And you know what? It's all good.
Man, what a cool guy, bro.
I knew in his head, he's like, I'm going to beat this guy up after this. In my head, he's like, I know he's going
to get us smacking after this.
Beat the shit out of this guy after this. Like, for doing that on the CEO, like, he forgot to turn the cameras on.
That made just
it was just, I just had like a little, like, he just turned around and said, hey, we ready to go? I'm like, oh, yeah. I forgot to turn all the other cameras on. I was like, man, this sucks. But yeah, like
the whole... You think they'd actually have like one wire that connects everything and you just have to press one button? Right?
There probably was, but I didn't realize. But yeah.
Considering it was your first time, at least you hit record on one.
Oh, yeah, exactly. At least I hit record on one. Like, we got some footage out of it, so that was the main thing. So, but I remember when we, like, the whole 2 days went by, nothing was said. I was like, oh, he's actually over it. Like, but like, I think he kept it professional. He knew that we're away. He wanted us to have a good time. And he waited till we got back to New Zealand and it's like had a review of the thing. It's like, also just wanted to bring up that, Franz forgot to push record. I was like, oh, crap. Not in front of the whole team. And then I was like, fuck, shot, bro. He's like, hope you learned your lesson.
Yeah, but I mean, bro, like at the end of the day, it was cool. Like, just from you telling the experience that you had on that particular one. Yeah. And like, I mean, I think like not everybody can do that. Like at such a high pressure situation like that, he just turned around and just like, okay, what do we have? Like,
yeah, he was super calm, man. Yeah, he just did not freak out. He was just like, it's all good. Like, let me have a look at what you got. He like stopped the CEO and I was like, he stopped the CEO. Like,
you know what's funny? Like a person who can actually react like that, and the way that he did, must have probably been through some pretty tough and crazy shit in his life.
I think he knew I think he knew I was shitting my pants at that stage. I think he knew, so he kind of approached it in a way that, and he handled it like a GA. Like he stopped the CEO. I think from what I remember, he stopped him just to say, "Hey, look, I think we might want to just retry, different,
A few things.
few things. Can we just hold off just in case? I just want to just check to make sure that we got the best sound bites for you." Like, so he stopped and he was like, "Okay, cool." And looking at his watch and stuff. I think he had his PA with him at the time, but he watched the whole like 50 minutes and he stopped and he's like, "It's all good. Like you can go." I'm like, "That's all good. We'll use that. Tell the person editing just to crop in this one." Not too much, but like just telling her what technical side of when they're editing. So yeah, like, I was like, "Oh yeah, sweet. He's all good at it. Like, did a good job." But me, I was like, "I did a good job." But
It's a
really,
good thing you still had a job after
yeah,
that.
exactly right. I was so worried. I was like, "Nah, he won't kick me
man.
out. Surely he won't." And he won't tell anyone. Nah, he brought it up in front of everyone afterwards. So I was like, "Frick, no."
Bro, that thing is gonna go on the Christmas dinners for a few
Oh,
years,
man. Hey man, everyone in that team had mistakes too. So it's like, hey, it's
Yeah,
all good.
yeah,
we
that's
all
it.
have those moments.
It's
So.
just part and parcel of being in that hole. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it just sucks to happen in that moment. Just you always imagine if you had that one moment. I've seen a video of like a guy like recording an interview from a winning team and he forgot to push record. Like it was just audio.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't audio, it was just visuals.
Just a video.
And then he forgot to plug the mic in. I was like,
Oh, crap.
so he couldn't get his response, just the guy going just crying.
Oh man, crap.
Oh man.
But I think like more what he did there, bro. It's crazy. Like this thing's gonna be passed on.
Yeah.
What he has done in this situation that you've screwed up, you're probably gonna experience this in the future.
Yeah.
When someone new comes on and works with you and does
Yeah.
that. And at that moment, bro, like when somebody does screw up working with you, you're
Yeah.
probably gonna go back like, hey.
Yeah,
The
you-
moment where you kind of pause and like you're thinking of how to react,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna react the same way that Pat did.
Yeah,
Man,
it's crazy. Like I think his one comes with experience and composure.
heaps of experience.
Yeah,
bro.
it's like Izzy, right? Izzy, we didn't get a reaction out of Izzy unless he feels like he's had experience like judging something, right? But yeah, I think that's a skill set in itself, man, and it's something that I'd love to learn. So definitely we'll try to apply it on any new starter. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin. Yeah. Just want to ask a little bit about, man. You actually told me about just you being around and traveling and stuff like that, because you've been around, bro.
Yeah.
Could you share with us a little bit about like you've lived, where you've lived, and
Yeah, 100%.
All that sort
Like
of
I
stuff.
born in New Zealand, in Middlemore Hospital. I found out that's where most polies were born. Apparently, I thought it was super special when I first found out because I've never really lived in Auckland before, but I knew I was born in Auckland, so I was like, "Yo, I'm born in Auckland, like ora hoo, like in Middlemore Hospital." But I still represent because apparently a lot of talent came out of there, so all good. What's it called? Then a few months. I think I was in New Zealand for like a couple months, from what I was told, and then we flew to Fiji. Yeah, we flew to Fiji, and I was raised in Fiji for about 6 years. We moved a lot because my old man was a minister in the church, and so so he was studying and practicing to become a minister. So yeah, we went to Fiji first. I was at the theological college there. I grew up there, did my schooling there as well, and then from there he had to do more studies, and he went to Australia. Sort of to live and study as well, and we took the whole family there with us. And yeah, lived in Canberra, out of all places. Lived in Canberra for like 3 to 4 years, and then once he finished from there, he graduated from university. We went back to Samoa. We went to Samoa. Well, they went back to Samoa. It was my first time in Samoa, and yeah, he was a teacher at the college, theological college. Yeah, and yeah, like it was crazy. Like I lived in Samoa for I think 4 to 5 years, I think it was, and then once we were in Samoa, my mom moved to New Zealand just to like have some operations, because her health wasn't so great. But she moved to New Zealand, and I think for a holiday, I was like, my dad, he was, you can go see mom and just hang out there. And I came to New Zealand, and I was like, what's it called? And my mom's like, oh, do you want to stay here a little bit longer So I stayed for an extra 2 months. I'm not overstay. I just stayed here, having to stay a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Just cracking up. But it stayed here a little bit longer with mom, and then mom went back to Samoa, and I stayed in New Zealand. I stayed here with my auntie.
Yeah.
So I lived with my auntie. My auntie had a house full. I think it's like 11 of us. I think
It's pretty normal.
pretty normal. Yeah,
Pretty
like I
normal.
think when you hear stories like this of polys and other cultures, like it's
Big
big
families.
families
Yeah.
at work. So I lived away from mum and dad for like when I was 12. I think 12, 13. I did my schooling down in Wellington. I went to Porirua College, and like, that school gets a rip. So, yeah, you get a lot of crap given, but it was a good school. I generally it was a good school. Had its moments, but definitely was a memorable part of my life going to that school. So, I did my college years there. It was the last 3 years of college, and then did university, and then just boom, straight to Australia. I went straight to Australia to pursue that rugby dream that every young poly really wants to achieve. I think I developed learning rugby really late. Not like I started when I was a little rugby player. I started when I was 15, I think it was. I was terrible when I started. Still was terrible probably growing up, but I got a little bit better at it. I grew up with a cousin of mine, and I lived with him as well in Porirua, a gentleman by the name of Robbie Fruin. I'm just gonna throw that name out. Yeah, he was
Robbie,
gangster.
I hope he's watching.
Yeah. Well, definitely, I'll get you to watch it. I shouted you out. No, Robbie was the man. Like Robbie, played in Crusaders as well, and he's part of like the biggest reason why like inspiration and motivation was a big thing. The dude had unreal like drive, man. Like he knew he was from the hood, and he knew he was gonna like make it like in the sports arena. I think everyone knew he was as well. Like every sport he played in the New Zealand team. Like
Wow.
it was equally that good. Like he made it pretty far. Made New Zealand's for rugby as well, and touch, basketball, volleyball, like you name a sport.
Wow, there's quite a few.
And
sports
badminton.
yeah.
He was the man in badminton too.
Wow, in badminton as
Yeah,
well.
he was the man. Like he was really good at badminton. I think he was like number 1 in Wellington as well. Like
Wow.
it was crazy. He was like all around talent. So I took a lot of inspo from him, and a lot of people thought I was good at rugby because I was Robbie's little cousin and I grew up with him. So there's a lot of expectation to be like him, man.
Pressure there.
Yeah, real pressure. Just even if I wasn't good, they'd just he's good because he's Robbie's little cousin. And then, when you're growing up, you associate with that, and like he must be good because he's. Even if you have one bad game, like you just had a bad game. But yeah, it came with that. So when I was in once I got into rugby, I started training with him. I felt I was getting a little bit better. As soon as I finished uni, I okay, I'm gonna go play some rugby. Won't be in New Zealand, but it'll be in Australia. So I went to Aussie, played in a club called Parramatta, 2 Blues there. So I think I had a 2-year stint trying to get my feet off the ground, but just couldn't. I think one, commitment sucked. Like, I gotta be really honest. I'm not gonna blame injuries, man. I definitely just had really bad commitment when it came to rugby. I prioritized other stuff first ahead of it, and just didn't get very far. So,
There's a lot of time, effort, training, and that goes into that.
I think it's because I was trying to get I was trying to do another career at the same time, which was accounting, and working in a finance team there, and I was enjoying that too. But I think when it came to prioritizing the two, I prioritized work and
money
and money and stuff like that, and also the dream just kind of felt like going out the door. And usually, if you're really passionate something, you'd hold on to that dream. But I definitely let go really easily. Yeah, I definitely didn't have that same drive that the other dude that was fighting for that same position. I'd see him training 24/7. Even if he wasn't rated better than me, he trained the house down and ended up being better. And ended up in a better position than I was. So I was like, yeah, you got to take that. Those wins and losses, and you got to realize that. I realized pretty quickly that rugby wasn't going to be a thing for me. So. Yeah, kind of. I'd say I gave up on it pretty quickly, but I'd say that I kind of just reassessed that it wasn't going to happen because I wasn't in the right headspace or didn't have the right drive to really execute what I needed to.
And what was interesting, after that period where you got off, and I actually checked out on your page, and you're saying that you kind of went off and you put on a bit of weight and all of that, and you kind of stopped from all the physical activities. Why did you? At which point did you realize that you want to get out of that cycle? Or
it's nuts, right? We just came back from Aussie, and I think I had one sevens competition just to play some more rugby while I was here, and then I did my knee. I absolutely did my knee, and then I think the surgeon's you can get back to rugby, but at the time I was 26. I was it's done. I should have just stopped, but I was still trying to get over the fact that rugby wasn't going to be a thing anymore, and like I'm still trying to come to terms. It took me a long time to come to terms that rugby wasn't going to be a part of
thing.
life anymore. Like I was literally just putting it aside now, and just working. And then I think, and there was a period when I just started at Zero. Zero has these cool like parties every Friday, man. It's like, yo, Friday night drinks is what they call it, and it's fun, man. Like, you know, they really look after their people there, so they have like drinks and everything. It's all free, unlimited. Like it's gold. Like, so I think, and then, you know, and I had more freedom. I stopped playing rugby, and when you stop playing rugby, you realize how much time you have. Like Tuesdays are free, yeah. Wednesdays are free, Thursdays are free, and all of Saturday. It's unbelievable that a game of rugby is 80 minutes, but the whole of Saturday gets taken up because of it. And then
hours and hours, even like fighting and just a lot of things.
Right, yeah, like training and stuff. Like it takes up your time and energy, and then on Sunday, like hangovers and stuff like that. Like it's written off, right? Like your whole weekend's written off, and you kind of repeat that every week. And then once I don't have any more training, I realize that there's so much more time. And, you know, like if I had a day off during the week, I want to go out, you know, like, and then I didn't train, and, you know, I didn't have any motivation to try to train, and just got stuck in that whole thing. I'm skinny. I'm always going to be skinny anyway. Like, it doesn't matter. It didn't take that long. I think it took like a month. I think I went from 100 to 130 something in like 2 months. And like, I think it hit me when it got to our wedding, and I was trying on clothes, and I was like, I was like 4 weeks out from wedding. I was like,
having a little bit of trouble with the sizing.
I want to go train now. 4 weeks out.
Yeah.
Didn't change anything. Like, I think it was just a good Kickstarter to like what came after, which was like, I'm gonna really try and just like sort out the health side of things first, and, you know, try to create, you know, motivate myself, but at the same time I was trying to create, like, take photos, you know, just to keep up my tracking and trying to motivate others, you know, as you do when you go on a fitness journey. You're like, I'm about to motivate everyone, you know, like get that Sunny Bill body. So never happened, never happened. It's like 3 years later, I'm still trying to get it. But I did go on a bit of a fitness journey, and I think I lost all that 30 kgs that I put on.
Bro, that's a lot. 30 kgs is a lot, man.
Yeah, it was a lot. And it definitely looked like I put on 30 kgs. If you ever see those photos, I think I took them down. So I put them back up just for you. But yeah, I definitely dropped back down and just had to kind of look after my weight and stuff like that. And now and then, like, it still fluctuates. You know, like, I'm still having like moments where like I pick up weight, go down a weight, but I think I'm comfortable and understanding that to get back down a certain place, you got to put a bit of effort and make some time for it.
And I think like not just about like working out and like physical stuff.
Yeah.
I think the other one that gets left behind a little bit is like the nutrition side of it. You know, just
100%.
Type of food, portions, timing of, you know, like
it's crazy,
all
right?
those stuff.
Like it matters. Like once you stop being a super physical person and, you know, doing what you used to do, like you can't just, you know, eat whatever you want anymore. You got to look after yourself. And like I actually went and saw like a sports nutritionist that actually gave me like a plan and, you know, like what, you know,
based on what goals you want.
Yeah, goals you want. And it was good. Like
start competing at Mr. Olympia.
Yeah. Bro, yeah, man. You know, see me on the stage. I was taking photos.
He showed us a little bit of his guns just now. I was like, okay.
I look like Carlos when I flex. No, joke. Sorry, Carlos.
Bro, that's a you've set the bar quite high, bro. Like
even from Sunnyville to Carlos, I'll give him that. Nah, it does take time. It does take a lot of energy, and definitely there's a reason why these people know more than us, and like, and they do actually do their jobs especially when they give you advice. So I kind of identified and, you know, made some time to make sure I looked after myself as well. So
definitely. And with age, I think age is the other one. People kind of lose. They kind of forget that they're not that young and your body's not burning as much anymore.
Yeah, unless you're Steve Tupper or Philly, then that shit doesn't happen to you.
I think they have always just lived that very active lifestyle.
Yeah, they've been consistent.
And you know, just the consistency is there. Yeah. Not eating crap and like not falling off the wagon, you know.
Even if they did eat crap, they'd be able to bounce back pretty quickly. Yeah, like body just they do enough to like.
Some people just their bodies just do it. They just burn through it, you know.
Like crazy. you're that type of person, you're lucky. I'm more of an absorbing guy.
Yeah.
I absorb knowledge and food. So.
Yeah, storage. The storage guy, maybe possible.
I got a lot of storage. Don't worry about that.
It's not going out the other end. It's just staying, man. Shit. Bro, I used to have a problem of gaining weight.
Yeah.
And, as I got older, I realized the problem has it's shifted to the other side. Now it's the problem of like losing weight,
Yeah.
So that's why you have to be, more careful. I think when I was, even that period, like when I really wanted to gain weight, I was really struggling, bro. One of the ways that I tried to do, I just like started smashing McDonald's, KFC, Burger Kings, and I ate heaps, but I just wasn't putting on anything, bro. Yeah, and then like, now,
Me too.
Fast forward now, you eat and you'll see the difference pretty fast.
I'm just eating a burger like this and looking at my clock, looking at my gut and stuff.
And it's like, man, how long do I have to cycle after this, or how long do I have to run? And you start to think about all those sort of stuff. But I mean, like at the end of the day, you just have to. I think the main ones to look after. For somebody who's not like competing professionally or a bodybuilder or stuff like that, you just really got to look after your health.
Yeah.
Food that you eat, don't clog your bloody veins and all the, as much as we love, bro, you gotta love those greasy stuff.
Man, I ain't never gonna say no to that, to be honest. I still do.
it is normal, but like, I think with everything, it has to be controlled, and within limits. If you're just gonna keep smashing that, like, it's rough, it's not gonna help you in the long run. Like, when you don't want to be like, you don't want to be maybe in your 50s and 60s and like sick, constantly getting sick.
Especially when you're like, you got a family and stuff like that. You want to enjoy these moments like
with your kids,
the boys, and run around. And especially like my boys, they don't stop running. So you got to keep up with them. Like, I think one stage I felt heavy and I couldn't even run a meter with him. I was like, nah, you go. But run back, okay? So I don't have to run after you.
That's tough. That, like, it actually hits you, I think like sometimes when you can't keep up, I've heard some mates who they don't really look after their bodies, but they come back and we talk about it. We talk about stuff, and they say like, man, I actually am regretting now because like I can't keep up with my kids, or and that's like quite a hard situation to be in. You want to be able to do those stuff with your kids.
I'm just saying, and like, I'm never gonna be the one to say like my experience is different from everyone, so I don't always judge your experience with mine. But like, there's always like a bit of a choice thing at the end of the day, and I think it's always about making time rather than having time to do something. Right? If it's important and you need to do it, make that little sacrifice, for the longer run than the gains in the future, right? So,
definitely.
Man, like, I think having fun with like your family is important. So, find a way to do it.
Hey you, don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video.
Wise words from the wise man. So what kind of advice would you give people watching, listening? Word of advice based on your experience, or just whatever that you want to say.
I can't really give advice on health.
No, not health.
No.
Whoa, not the health advice, but
but if you want to know, 2 cheeseburgers at dinner. Just kidding.
Well, anything, bro. General life.
Man,
in this industry, whatever you like. What hits you the most right now?
There's so many things that hit me. I think,
bro, too many
things that like. There's always different aspects in life that I try to separate, so I look at things always differently and holistically at the same time. So, like, even in career-wise, I think I always try to give not advice, but I always try to give inspo in things that in the path that I've walked. It's hard to give inspiring chats when you've never experienced it, eh? So it's more just giving that sort of not tunnel vision, but the light at the end of the tunnel for most people. I think when you come from a background, or you come from a pathway that almost felt like it was blocked, and there's traditional ways that kind of blocked you from getting to something that you really like doing, or even just the idea of discovering what you like doing. Some of it never comes at an early stage. The whole late bloomer thing is a thing. If you ask me, that's for me personally. But I think it's just like in this industry right now, like if you're really like, especially the one we're in, like the creative space, like it takes like everything takes a bit of grind, right? But it is a little bit harder like today because everyone is trying to do it now because the tools are out there. It's more accessible for everyone to do. But it's one of those things that if you're super passionate about it, like my thing is always find a way to make it work. Like that's just 100% vibe. But you know, like if there's someone that you want to work with, then find a way to make it work. You know, like, and I've always been clear about that with myself. Like I've always had goals. I'm like, I want to work with this person. I will work with this person. And I just need to find the right point of contact, the right timing, create the right piece, you know, that's gonna attract. And that's the end of the day. You can't keep wishing that you're gonna see it and not put any work, right?
That's it.
You can wish all you want, but if you're not gonna put any action into it, like nothing's ever gonna come out of it, right? So that's the kind of like life motto I'm trying to like, you know, live by. Like, don't rely on luck or don't rely on on a lot of people, but you know, just put in some work and see what you get out of it. And like one of the biggest things I've learned in this industry and just in life, like as much as I said that, you know, don't rely too much on other people, but it's the whole idea of working together as well, man. Like you can't do things alone. Like there's always going to be a point where you have to reach out to someone and say, hey, I'm going to need some help on this thing. Like definitely, like if you can help out, chip in, or you know, point me in the right direction. And that's the one thing I like. Even with the Izzy shoot, I knew I couldn't do it alone, and I knew that if I got someone to help, it would be a bigger sort of light at the end of the tunnel. You know, one, mentally, like I feel comfortable that we delivered something good, but the opportunity that came with it as well, because I made 2 new friends. You know, shoot, I met 2 new people, and you know, I worked with a big company, and you know, mentally I felt, you know, good because I started working with other people. Even like people are always trying to get ahead, you know, like everyone's trying to get ahead, but if you can like bring people up with you, that's like the give back, right? Like the whole thing with Pat, you know, like giving back to me, it's just paying it forward too, you know, like paying it forward and working hard, and you know, there's no substitute for it, eh? Like everyone says, right? There's no substitute for it. So, man, if I could quote a whole bunch of Izzy things, man, I would. But he does. He's Innsbruck king, man. Like if he has something like a little piece that he could say every time, you can hold on to that piece, because that's good. Like when people are successful and they can share a bit of light, then that's it, eh? And then take people up with you, then that's the goal, eh? Like, but you got to want it for yourself as well.
Definitely, yeah.
You can't
I
rely
mean,
on others.
yeah, I think what you mentioned about, you know, I mean, that's actually really, for somebody who says he doesn't have good advice, that was actually really good advice. But
like it's general common advice, but you know, it's always good to be repeated.
But you know what? That's the thing. Like what we consider common, like to some people, it's not. You know,
it's foreign, right?
Yeah, and you know, just what I really liked, a particular one that you said is about bringing people up with you. And I feel like this is important. Like as much as we all want to get ahead, like at the end of the day, I think it's if you work with people around you and you kind of you help each other to elevate. You know, like there's no loss there.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and I feel like sometimes in this day and age, people always want to get ahead, and it's kind of like, you know, one really
rat race, eh?
Yeah, you know, and one really good one that I like was you know, sorry, I gotta pull Gary Vee into this again.
Yeah, man, you gotta keep quiet. He's good.
Yeah, and it's awesome what he said about, you know, if you want to build the highest building in town, you know, there's 2 ways to do it. You're either gonna crush everybody else's building, or it's gonna be the highest building in town. You know, and I feel that that's important as well. You know, people should really look out for like the people around you, people who help you, even if it's in a small way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's quite easy to forget, you know, like when you were a small fry, you know, and the fellas who actually helped you out. Like, and then when you get to a certain stage, like,
yeah, it's crazy. Like I've always been super mindful of that, because when you grow, there's always an expectation of you to help everyone, you know. And it's almost impossible, right? Like you can't help everyone, but you can help a few people. You can help, you know, in your capacity that you have to help everyone. It's not always money. Like everyone always thinks that you made it big, you got money, help everyone. It's like, man, I've been helping everyone along the way this whole time. Like you've been reaching out. You
it's
chat.
bigger than the money.
Yeah,
man.
and a conversation is sometimes all you need to have, right? I think that speaks more volume than like financial situations, because sometimes people just want to be heard, or sometimes people just want to share ideas, and they're not asking for finance. But if they are, it's always hard, because like sometimes you don't have the capacity to always do it, and sometimes you feel guilty that you can't help them financially. But I think it's being able to put yourself in a position that if you can, and you will, like knowing that you will help it. But yeah, it's always a tough one. Like you can't please everyone. But I think it's just being true to yourself, that when you can help someone, definitely try to give them, the opportunity to
Give 'em a
follow it.
hand,
Yeah,
right?
give them a hand. Yeah.
Anyway, Franz, what are your future plans from here, brother? What do you have down the line?
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I'm just starting. This last 2 months has been massive. Like I think just working with like some campaigns and people, and working the creative space. Like I'm just keen to see where the social space like takes us, right? I don't know where it will. Having a lot of conversations now about bigger campaigns for some people that that we kind of are familiar with. So I think we'll share some more of that news in the future. But to be honest, man, I think the big goal is to really establish myself and like be able to grow. I think in the social space, not in. I'm really trying to be different in the sense that I don't want to be this thing, but I want to be this thing. Like there's already people trying to put me in a pocket. Oh, so you're this. You're an agency. I'm like, no. Oh, so you're a small production company. I'm like, no. Like, I just want to be my own thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
It's hard. Like everybody wants to put a label.
yeah,
They want to put a title.
Yeah.
They want to put a label.
Yeah.
And they want to classify you.
Yeah, like I'm happy for people to keep guessing what I'm doing. Right? It's like, yeah, just keep guessing. Like
Keep you on your toes,
yeah, like I'll let you know once I figure out what it is. Like even the whole, are you a content creator? Are you a videographer? It's like, yeah, I'm a bit of everything. Like,
everything,
I can do everything. I'm Samoan too. Like, like it is what it is. Like don't put a label on me. Like, I'm still trying to figure it out. Like I'm still a student in this whole process. Like, just like everyone else is. And I feel like if I stay a student, I stay learning. So. And that's the kind of vibe I'm going for. But, people in this business space just want to know what you are. I want to classify you. I want to be able to, talk about it in a way that you're this. Like, at the moment, I don't even know what you are. Like, it doesn't matter. You don't know what I am, but you're still talking to me. You came to me, So, like, there's something that you like. At the end of the day, if you like the finished product of whatever I am, then that's what should matter for me. Like,
that's an interesting one when you give them your name cards as well.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be quite an interesting one. What if I put my name card?
Yeah, exactly. So usually it's just my Instagram handles. Do you have a business card? Yeah, just use my Instagram. You just follow it. That's the business card.
That's it. And basically, that's what it is now. Like, Instagram is really your, like, it's like a new modern day business card, bro.
I used to dog people for Instagram, I'll be honest, man. Like, people that use social media. But then you really understand how powerful the tool is. And
it is.
Yeah. In the wrong hands, it's dangerous. And, in using a positive way, it can be used really well, and you can build something from it, So, but yeah, it is my business card. Like, for someone, like, I've talked to a few videographers that have created websites and these YouTube reels of like their work. I'm like, they're like, oh, where's your one? I'm like, I don't got one. Like, I got my Instagram with my transition challenges on it. Like, it looks pretty crappy, but people seem to like it. So, like,
oh, it's not crappy at all. That was
it's crazy. Like,
stuff,
there's some few things that you want to build on. Like, if I had to pick what I wanted to make, it'd be like just a whole bunch of anime stuff and like, hey, yo, Izzy, if you want, like,
I've seen some of the anime stuff that you made as well. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I've seen Izzy comment on it. I was like, yo.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, let's go.
He was like, I think I saw that comment that he said, yo, we need to work on something.
I was just like,
I saw that one.
I'm in my chair going, oh my God. So I was pretty stoked there.
He's stuck now in the US, but I'm pretty sure when he comes back, he'll be keen to work on some stuff. Like we were saying, man, that guy has a wild imagination, and
that's what's exciting about it. It's like, oh, I wonder what's he thinking? Like,
it's different. Like, you talk to a few of the people like around the gym or people who know him.
Yeah.
And even they'll tell you like they can't really figure him out, like.
Yeah. Nah, it's cool. I love the vibe. I think it really stuck with me once when he had his latest fight. And I made that latest video of the Akatsuki outfit. I was like, yo, that's my dog wearing the Akatsuki outfit. Like, I had that sitting in the wardrobe. I was like, I'm keen to wear it now because
Ooh, yeah, it's coming out
yeah, it's
now.
coming out now. And I was like, that was cool. That was a cool win and a cool way to make that little piece as
Yeah,
well.
I
So
like the video that you posted after he got the win, bro. That was awesome,
that was
man.
hilarious, man. I think yeah, got a bit of eyes on it, which was pretty cool. I was pretty stoked.
I saw one thing I wanted to ask was some of the videos that you actually shot.
Yeah.
It took me a while to realize, but I think I saw Johnny's comment on one of them, like it was shot at your dad's
Yeah,
church.
Yeah, I was like, yo, shh. Yeah, man. Like the
So
place
now
is
we know secret
yeah,
locations.
secret location, man. Everyone's like, yo, where is that place? And some people are like commenting, it's at your church, eh? No. No, I'd never do that. Sorry, but it is what it is. Like, it definitely is at my old man church. That place is a beautiful place to shoot at. It's got angles and lights for days.
Yeah,
So,
it's like perfect lighting as
yo,
well.
it's so good.
Damn.
So, yeah, bless my soul. The church didn't burn down, so that's all good. So,
Oh man, that's pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
working, would you say more of like, which one do you prefer actually doing stuff like along like animation, that sort of that
Yeah,
kind of direction, or do you prefer like the more like the stuff with the Live Plus? Like, is it?
it's crazy, right?
Sorry, did I get? Is it Live Plus or?
it's live, like you're
Live Plus,
living,
yeah.
so live plus, yeah.
Yes, like the stuff with Live Plus, like infomercials, commercials.
Yeah.
Or, what's the?
Yeah, it's different, right? Like one's your bread maker, right? One makes bread and the other one entertains and one fulfills the soul, right? And that's the anime stuff. Like the stuff I do with Flight Live Plus, it's cool. It's a cool way to keep your feet in the commercial space and like make bread and work with cool people and work with cool brands and try to flex your creativity in that brand. So it's a matter of like like still doing cool stuff for other people, but still doing your own stuff. And
Stop! I have to stop you there.
Yeah.
Question: talking about brands, bro.
Yeah.
What would be like some of the, like your brands that you really want to work with, or like
That's crazy, right? Like it's not so much I want to work with, what type of work I want to create, and the only brands that do it. It's anything inspo. Like it's the inspo stuff that gets me. Like I would sit and watch every Nike ad from beginning to end, like how it's shot, how I feel about it. It's just like, yo, like that really hit. That really hit. That left me going.
understanding the idea
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah, just how they like bring the concepts. Like sometimes they don't have a star power in front of it. One, they just great storytellers, right? And it is just that. Like, how much of a storyteller are you? Like, like to bring such a powerful person, like with a reputation in it and make this story bigger than what it is, or not make it about them, but make it feel inclusive and make you feel like you can do it. That's why I love their ads. I haven't really like fell in love with the brand, itself, but I love what they do. You know what I mean? Like they think I would watch every Kobe ad that came out. I think there's one that came out that people will think like it has to be a big production to be the best thing ever, right? There's a video that came out and all it had was a black screen and just words on the side. It was Kobe, that Kobe video dedicated to Kobe when he passed away. And I was like, the end of it had forever, and it said Mamba forever, Father forever, and it's like airball forever when he missed that free throw. And it's like, I had all these things that's forever, and it was just a black screen with text. And I was like, that is the most creative thing I've ever seen. It was powerful, delivered a message, and it made me feel something. And I was like, that's what it's the content I want to create. I don't care where I work for, but if you're down to create that vibe, then yeah, I'm with it. Like anything that helps other people inspire. That's the value in some, I feel like, content. Like you make someone feel something. That's what it is. If you feel something when you come away from a piece of content where you're like excited or amped, then yeah, that's it. Like even the comedy stuff, yeah, like you come away from Live Plus and like relatable, like, hey, that was a good laugh. You know what I mean? But I do like creating pieces that when people watch it, it's like, yeah, that was cool. Whether the brand is there or not, I felt something in the ad. Who was tailed on at the end of that ad? It's like, oh yeah, it was Heineken or it was Nike. Like, cool, that's cool that they associated with this guy. Like, so it's more of just taking it from that perspective, like, like who can do these type of ads or who can do this type of work,
What's it like? Talking about the Live Plus one that you did.
Yeah.
What was it like working with Johnny?
And
you know,
Terrell and-
Terrell and all that. You know, you have so many. You have these guys that have a lot of ideas themselves as well.
Yeah.
How do you feeding off each other's ideas and all that? How's that whole experience like?
With that Live Plus one, Terrell was in it since he was like our main guy. Like sometimes you got to leave. Again, like if the best at what they do to do what they do. So the video is like around Terrell's character. So it's like, yeah, you tell me what Terrell does. You know, like if you say that's what Terrell does, and Terrell's great around the comedy skits and stuff, so he has more experience around it. So I'm like, here's my concept, but how would you bring it to life?
You kind of spice it up.
How would
your
you
style?
do it, style, and I'll video it in my style, but the creative concept, like, how would you bring it to life? So it's a bit of balancing, and so it's knowing when to, especially in the social space, and everyone brings their ego and stuff like that, but it's understanding that what's my ego going to be like when I come into this, like. Don't try to take control of things that you're not even good at, So it's like, so I kind of run with it and let Terrell, tell his jokes and act the way he acts, just roll from there,
Just
like,
flows there.
yeah,
And I think it's really important to have a connection outside of it's so much better to work with someone you actually know and can vibe with,
definitely,
and
100%, man. And Terrell, like he's an awesome dude. Like outside of like social media, he is Terrell. Like exactly.
That's exactly how he
he's
is.
hilarious.
I think one of his crazy videos I saw was when he tried to sneak into Coachella.
Bro, that was hilarious.
That was a lot, but that was one of the crazy ones. Shit.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly. Like trying to do that. And with Johnny, it's cool. I'm a name drop now. Johnny's a little cousin of mine, so it makes it a lot easier to work together. His story is real cool. How he came from rugby league and going into the creative space. So, yeah, man, like it's been cool, trying to see that process as well for Johnny.
Yeah, man. Anyway, I think we got hour and a half, bro. It's been a while. It's just short. We just shot straight through, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Franz, I don't want to keep you on any longer.
No stress, man.
Bro, thank you so much for coming today.
I appreciate it.
Doing this podcast with me, and man, I'm sure people are really gonna learn a lot from it. They're gonna benefit from it, and just whatever message that we have talked about. There's just so many little things that people can pick out.
Yeah,
they can use it in their lives, or whatever it might be that they are doing. And I'm sure even for myself, some of the one crazy one, I just had a conversation with someone today, what I said, at the end of the day, for myself, I feel like even if there's no one else that actually picks up anything from it, I have actually picked up quite a few things from every podcast that I do.
Man. That's awesome.
So it has helped me. If it's benefited one person,
yeah, man,
you're already making a change. So it's, man, just keep doing what you do, and we are definitely looking forward to see a lot more of your stuff.
Man.
And you're always, and what's interesting was I actually took some time to scroll through your whole feed. That's what I like to do. I like to scroll. I like to look at everything. And I've just seen the whole development, the progress, and everything from where you started and to where it is now. And I'm pretty sure, bro, it's just only gonna get better. And we're gonna expect fireworks, bro. Not to put any pressure on you, but
that's good, man.
We're gonna expect some cool stuff, and I'm sure you're gonna be in time to come one of the leading names, in this whole industry, bro.
Likewise, bro. Likewise.
Sure.
I can't wait to see more of your name floating
Anyway,
around.
thank you very
Appreciate it,
much.
bro. Yeah.
Cheers, guys. If you've got this far, thank you very much for watching this episode, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you for watching this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and see you on the next one.